going down the world. Are you there?
Yeah, different staff, we have similar job. It's always different.
I have a brother. Yeah, oh, did you? I was like, you were farther than I did. I parked over by the shop. Yeah. Across the highway.
First time way back.
Yeah.
Got the small one, all right. She said that this last week. She's done really well.
Yeah.
The only drawback is.
Oh, really?
If we go to Safeway and over medicines and.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on our plan.
Just this last week. How are you?
Jay, you didn't bring us no snacks tonight?
Like you just said. Yes, you have.
No, it's like what I got. It's just information about the merger.
See, we got diehards in the audience here. Whether that.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it. I would like to go make that trip. I'm 7 to 10 days. Bad time.
Same story.
Yep, never did.
How'd your trip go? That weekend that we had with Zen? Your trip go pretty good?
It was nice. Just me and the wife having our time. Didn't have any other friends with us. Holding us back.
That's always a plus.
Pretty sensitive.
I actually got my wife to come out to that event, so that was the first time she'd ever been with me in public. Nobody got arrested, no fights. Everybody cleaned up their messes and put everything in the barrels. So,
Yeah.
good. And those lights, the light stands did a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's it. We're at 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order. Please stand and we'll do flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, everyone, welcome to the November City Council meeting. We do have a slight adjustment in the agenda today. And we are actually going to start off with a discussion regarding the 2021 participation agreement in the City of Silverton Manufactured Home Rehabilitation, CDBG CB-2 grant program. And we have Renette Wakely actually on, I believe. Renata, there you go.
Hi, Mayor. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We're good.
Okay, thank you. If it's okay to proceed, my name is Renata Wakely. I'm the Community Development Director at Mid-Willamette Council of Governments. Some of you might be familiar with the COG for our council training and visioning work. We also provide land use planning services to the City of Hubbard through Holly Byram. The COG manages a housing rehabilitation loan program, and we've done so since the mid-'80s on behalf of our member governments in Marion County. And we provide a report to city staff on an annual basis on funds that are available and persons that are able to access the program for weatherization, repair, ADA accessibility work in your community. And in 2017, for the first time, the Business Oregon that manages community development block grant dollars opened up a new program that was for a grant for income qualifying persons that don't own, they own their structure, but they don't own their land. So our traditional program, as set up on by the CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant Rules, we do low interest loans to income qualifying persons. That's up to 80% of the median household income for the region, to access these low interest loans in order to complete, roof repairs, other furnace or heating repairs on their home. But we secure those loans, those low interest loans, by doing a lien on the property. And so persons in manufactured home parks, we were never able to serve. They were not eligible. When Business Oregon amended their rules to allow us to apply for a grant to serve income qualifying persons in manufactured home parks, we did the first application in 2017. The city of Staten in that case was the lead applicant. When you serve as a lead applicant as a city, there's additional staffing work that's required. We do our best to assist, but there's still obligations of the city council to hold public hearings, et cetera. We successfully implemented that program in 2017. It was approximately $400,000. The city of Hubbard was an eligible community for those funds. We assisted a number of persons. I'm sorry that I don't have the number offhand of how many people we were able to help in your community, but I'm going to estimate a minimum of 6 to 8 is typically how many folks we can serve. But when we expended all of that money assisting eligible persons, and that was a $10,000 cap for each family or person that we were able to assist, When those dollars were expended after 2017, we still had waitlist people in the city of Hubbard that we didn't have funding. We ran out of funding and we could not serve. City of Silverton also had approximately 8 to 10 people that when funds were expended, they still, there was a lot of interest in the program. And City of Staten had folks that were eligible, or I'm sorry, still on their wait list. So we've been looking to get additional grant dollars to help those persons that were on the wait list and other folks that may be eligible or hadn't heard about the program. What's changing in Marion County, as you may know, is that Marion County is becoming an entitlement community. And that means your future community development block grant dollars, those CDBG funds that you will access in the future, will be through Marion County and not through Business Oregon. But I believe that Vicki included in your packet the supplemental materials. There's funding right now called the CV2 Emergency Housing Assistance Program. And that's related to coronavirus relief funds, and it's through Business Oregon. And Business Oregon has let us know that while Marion County is moving to what they call an entitlement, that they will be administering their own CDBG funds. That transition happened a few months ago, that cities in Marion County can apply for CV2 funds. And the program that I was just speaking about, where we have a lot of interest and folks on a wait list, they told us that we could apply, or a city could be a lead applicant to access additional dollars. Because the city of Silverton had a number of people on their wait list, they have offered to be the applicant, but they are aware that there are other communities that also have need. And because, working with our staff, it was the city of Staten and Hubbard that had the greatest need. That's who we're proposing to be the applicants in this case. That does not mean that we won't be able to serve other communities, but we have folks that have been waiting for some time to access these dollars. And the city representatives got together a few weeks ago and said, well, let's get to those waitlist folks if we can, before we start marketing the program and opening it up to others. That's all if we are successful in an application. So one of the application requirements is a partnership agreement that you have provided by Vicki that we need to submit with the application. So that's what I have. There is no administrative cost to the city or work beyond the council meeting tonight for city staff, because the city of Silverton has said they will be the lead. They held a public hearing. I believe it was last Monday night, also an application component. They'll have to hold another public hearing as part of grant closeout. So City of Silverton's the lead, but they are offering to have Hubbard as a partner. And so I will take any questions you might have.
So it sounds to me like we benefited already, Hubbard, the last time this was out. So there's obviously still a need for it within the community. I don't have any questions. I think this is still a great opportunity. It's no overhead for our city staff that's already taxed. I don't have any questions. James, do you have any questions?
I have a couple questions, obviously, I will listen to you, but first question is, will this impact any other of our future grants?
Okay, can I take the questions one by one if that's okay? So if I heard you correctly, it's, will this impact your future grants? So the city of Silverton, in accessing the CV2 dollars, is also looking to work with, I believe their acronym is SOCA, Silverton Area. I'm sorry that I don't know what the full acronym is for some food assistance. And according to Business Oregon, the city being submitting 2 applications, that doesn't detract from your points. So when we talk about CV2 dollars, and I'm not a Business Oregon staffer or representative, so we work with their staff. So we have been told that submitting this application for CV2, and again, you're not the lead applicant, would not impact your ability to access additional CV2 dollars. So I want to be very specific though, that we're talking CV2 dollars only. That is they will award the money until the money is gone. And we don't know how quickly that will happen. The application is opening November 15th. When when Hubbard wishes to pursue community development block grant dollars in the future, you will be working with Marion County on that and not Business Oregon. So my response, my understanding from discussions with Business Oregon staff is that will have no impact upon your ability to access future CDBG dollars.
Okay, thank you. How will this change to Marion County affect the fairness on the distribution of dollars when Salem is so much bigger than the rest of us?
Can you restate the question?
Yeah, sorry, I think it's the math. How will this change to Marion County affect the fairness on the distribution of dollars, being how Salem is so much larger?
Yeah, so the money that Marion County will receive directly from HUD, Housing and Urban Development, for CDBG dollars is not impacted by these CV2 dollars. This is separate coronavirus relief dollars coming through Business Oregon. So it has no impact on what Marion County's entitlement will be over the next couple of years. Now, whether that entitlement money from HUD is reduced for some reason in the future, 5 years down the road, because of CV2 dollars, I can't speak to that, but it has no impact on Marion County's entitlement. And the funding is open November 15th for cities, but it will open to entitlements at a future date. And I don't know, I've got the forms in front of me. I don't know if it's in December or at the end of the year, but that means City of Salem, Lane County, Eugene, City of Portland will eventually be able to compete for these CV2 dollars. And it's once the funds are awarded, and we're competing with others. So we're trying to get our applications in as quickly as possible. So we're not competing with larger jurisdictions. I hope that answers the question.
That does, thank you. And we do appreciate all the work you've done, working with Staten and Silverton and keeping us in the loop. The last question I have is, how many are currently on the wait list, do you know?
So in Hubbard, so I'm not the housing rehab specialist. We have a gentleman by the name of John Schmidt. Vicky should know him, fairly well. He's the one that meets with property owners or homeowners for loans. When we met 2 weeks ago, my understanding is we had 6 to 8 people in Hubbard that were waiting, meaning when we had funding. So they've been waiting, maybe 2 years. Their eligibility could have changed. So someone who was eligible that we said, okay, you're eligible. We're going to try to assist you. 2 years ago, folks' incomes changed. So again, the first criteria is that they have to income qualify. We believe that the folks that were eligible 2 years ago, they'll be the first ones we reach out to once we hopefully get an award. What in our experience, as soon as we start to do work in a community, whether it's via our loan program or in manufactured home parks, the neighbors do a really good job of marketing the program. And so we start to get a lot of phone calls. So when one person accesses a grant and is able to put on a new roof or improve access through their front door, usually the neighbors start talking and we get a influx of a lot of phone calls. So in Hubbard, I would anticipate that we're going to be able to serve 8 to 10 people, $80,000, but we expect we're going to get a lot of phone calls. And so, whether more funding will be available down the road, I can't say.
Thank you very much.
Edward, you have any questions?
I have none.
So Vicky, on this one, do we need to make a motion and approve for a signature?
Yes.
I make a motion we accept it with a signature.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Okay, motion carries. Thank you so much for coming and sharing and continuing to allow us to be a partner with Silverton and State.
Yes, thank you. Vicky, do you need me to stay on for other items?
No, I think you're good. Thank you, Renata.
Okay, good
Enjoy
night.
your evening.
Thank you.
Okay, and council members, I apologize, but I forgot to ask, is there any consent agenda underneath item 9 that you would like to pull out for regular discussion? Nope. All right, we'll leave it as is. My apology, I usually try to get that done the very first out. Okay, agenda number 3 is, as you can see, we are down one counselor tonight. So we had a city goal session meeting last week where as a council, we were able to actually have a discussion to postpone 2 pretty big topics until Tyler can actually participate with us. Now, those 2 topics would be the appointment of the new city council to the vacant positions. And our 2 current candidates, I believe, received an email letting you guys know that we're going to delay it 1 month. And also the further discussion regarding the city manager also was pushed off until December. So we're gonna have a full council, so we have a chance to actually have a good discussion and ensure everyone is here. So I just wanted to make sure everyone's aware of that. So we will postpone that discussion and appointments until December 14th, 2021. All right, and let's just keep moving on through this then. The next one we have on our calendar or agenda is ordinance number 375-2021, an ordinance amending the Hubbard Municipal Code to require ice cream vendors to comply with HMC Chapter 5.10. Question on this one, what is driving this? I just want to make sure I understand it completely.
Sure. So we had an amendment to the code where it was peddling and soliciting. And according to ORS, we weren't allowed to continue with licensing, peddling and soliciting. So that section of the code got amended, but there was a section in there about ice cream vendors. And ice cream vendors used to come in and get an application, a license, and get a badge, and they were still able to go out and do their business. Well, when they amended the code, they forgot about that section. So this is putting that back into the code so that we're continuing on with what we were previously doing.
A little bit more scrutiny than towards the ice cream vendor that drives around or whatever it might be that they are still registering with the city.
Correct.
Kind of like a mobile food cart. You think about it.
Right.
Okay, that makes much more sense. But before I move on, Robert, do you have any questions on this?
No.
James? Okay, then we can move forward with it. Okay, we'll get a motion to read by title for first reading.
Make a motion to read by title only for first reading.
Okay, ordinance number 375-2021, an ordinance amending the Hubbard Municipal Code to require ice cream vendors to comply with HMC Chapter 5.10.
Motion to read by title only for second reading.
I second it.
Okay, ordinance number 375-2021, an ordinance amending the Hubbard Municipal Code to require ice cream vendors to comply with HMC Chapter 5.10.
Motion to adopt the ordinance.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt the ordinance in a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. Okay, ordinance carries. I'm sorry, it's really hard to read when my glasses are constantly fogging up with the mask. Okay, agenda number 6, continued discussion. Thank you. Regarding funds received under the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds established under the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. And Melinda, now I see the acronym. So who's going to lead us on this discussion?
I will.
Okay.
So I unfortunately wasn't at the September meeting when I believe the discussion was on ARPA funds. And just to clarify, I think the thing that Sergeant Anderson was asked was about PPE equipment. We got most of that from the state or the Marion County Emergency Management, the masks, the gloves, hand lotions or whatever, hand solvent. So it was free. We bought a couple boxes of gloves that came out of our general budget. So I don't see that as a necessary item. I didn't know about this until Vicky said something, and we hadn't met, and I think that was direction from you guys. So prior to meeting, I called several jurisdictions and found out what they were doing with their ARPA funds. Huntsville's doing in their sewer project. Silverton's doing it to fund their new police department, city hall. Staten's doing some public works stuff. I'm not sure exactly what. But the conversation I had along with this, the city manager of Woodburn, and they had a whole list of items that they were using their funds. Of course, they had several $1 million to do this with. And so when I was talking to him, he told me why he was putting into those funds. I think they've already signed off on them. And then I talked to some other jurisdictions in Clackamas. So going through the things, I'm about to bring you down to bullet point 5 on the memo. It says provide premium pay for essential workers. Oh, and that in the document, the Excel spreadsheet, I just threw numbers down there. I mean, this is some for you guys to play with in the organizations that you may consider or not. It's the ones that I located here. I'm talking to the city manager. But my priority is that the bullet point 5 was provided for essential workers who could not work from home. And that was just about everybody in the city. And speaking on the police officer's side, we didn't shut down. We might have shut down our building, but we did not shut down what we did. And I've come in here several months showing you what the police officers have been doing in arrest and everything. And they didn't complain. The only grumbling I had was we couldn't use our interview room because you have to interview everybody recorded with a felony, so we had to do it in cars. And we weren't doing ride-alongs. So I am recommending that you use some of the funds. It's a one-time shot to give to the city workers, the premium pay, because that's what it was created for. And if you look at it further, it goes into persons of color and females who don't have the opportunity to make more money. On the police department side, 1/3 of my police department's minority, and I have 1 female employee. City hall or administration's 2 females, and I believe public works is the same, 2 minority public works and 2 females. So that's if I encourage you to take a strong look at that and find some money to give to our employees for them. We didn't shut down here. So we might have shut down the building. I can't attest to it, and if Mike wants to comment, Melinda, but observing Vicky and Julie, yes, no one could come into the building, but they still had to handle items outside the window. And if you look at I didn't have everything here, but I think you guys were given that in September. One of the things says handling items from other people, and they did that on a daily basis. So that was created for that. And then the other things I can run down here. So the DEQ is going to be required because we don't have a filtration system, and that's a and you know we got 794,000 or something, and it comes into what they call tranches 1 and 2. And so we already have the first tranche into the city accounts, and I'm not sure when the second one's going to come next year, and that's why it's split into 2 tiers like that. So DEQ, we got to put a filtration system here at City Hall and Public Works, or not?
No, we don't have a.
Okay. Yeah, so that's one thing. And then the cybersecurity, I taught terrorism at PCC before I took the job here, and everything was pointing to cybersecurity. We've already seen it the last few years. We probably need to update, and this is we can use the funds to do that before we get hit real bad. I know that Central Point Police Department was shut down about 2 years ago on a cyber attack. And then the third thing is security camera system for the outbuilding here, and for the outside. And it's $5,000, and that's a one-time shot. As we go down to negative economic impacts, it's my understanding that you wanted to know what we could do for communities And we all know the Love Santa organization. We have 2 people on that here. Speaking to the city manager of Woodburn, that was a big priority to give funds to that because they help so many people in so many different ways at this time of the year. And they gave considerable more money because they have it. And Liberty House, I know James and Robert know what Liberty House is. Do you know what Liberty House is, Mary? So Liberty House is the Marion County juvenile skilled interviewers for children who have been in abuse situations, either sexually or physically. And they have skilled workers that have been trained to interview these kids instead of a big old burly police officer. And they're making, they've been trying to get a hub up here in Woodburn, which we would have access to instead of having to run down to Marion County. And it's been in conjunction with the city, with the district attorney's office and everybody else who has a stakeholder. So that's another organization that could use some funds. I did not talk to the lady in Jubilee Food Pantry, but I believe that they give out boxes during Christmas time or throughout the year, right? Okay. And that's another organization here. Bricks of North Marion, that's Whitney Workman's thing that she started by the tattoo parlor, and that's Bricks for North Marion. When I called her, she said she didn't really have any issues with fundraising with COVID. She's actually been able to get some funding. And they do a lot more than just food boxes. Like they just gave a family 2 mattresses who needed them. So there's a lot of things they do in these tough economical times for people who can work. And then, of course, we have our Marion E. Carl Veterans Memorial. It's, it's one of the city's signature attractions. And, it's, it always needs stuff to help them keep the upgrade on that. So those are the organizations I found around town. We talked about it. And so those are recommendations that the council should consider. And then I think one of them was how to help families. One of the things Woodburn's doing is utility billing, and if there's people who have been struggling with that, we don't know totally about that, but that's one thing that we recommend that maybe we could do. And then help the vulnerable low-income families. And Vicky's been working on that, on how other jurisdictions are handling that. It sounds like it's through a third party. And then, of course, we just had our goal setting, and one of the big goal settings is things from Public Works, and especially with the water pressure and stuff, and wastewater. And if you need more information, Mike and Melinda can address that. Do you have any questions of me on the recommendations? And the numbers I just threw out there, I just put them down on paper. It's obviously nothing set.
So I'm assuming the utility assist for the vulnerable low-income families wouldn't just be water, but it could also be PG or other
I would think
utility
so.
bills?
I would think so. I think we copied that from Woodburn utility billing.
Okay.
So
And I'm assuming we probably don't need that much right away. So is there a requirement to spend the money right away, or can it be a seed for a fund? Such as, can it sit there with that much money?
that I asked because I thought we were on a time limit to get this approved, and I thought we had time. Vicki, do you know the dates?
I don't know about a deadline date on this. I know they extended the reporting of the funds. They did extend that period, but I don't know about, the timeline of when we need to start doing this and getting it out. I don't have that information. We'll have to do some more research on it, unless Melinda and Mike can shed some light on that. No?
I think that projects have to be defined by 2024 and in the works, and it's either completed in 2026 or well on the way.
So
is my
sometime,
understanding.
actually.
But there is some time, is my understanding.
I forgot one thing on the cybersecurity. So the Criminal Justice Information System, or CDS, run by, well, it's the FBI, but the state police does it for the state. There's certain things we have to have on our laptops, on our phones. With the new IT, just went through the training. I don't know if we're up at what CGIS standards, and part of that cybersecurity upgrade includes that. we'll probably have to do it eventually to be CGIS compliant. I'm not sure when our next audit is, so.
Our questions over to James. Any questions? Robert?
I don't have any questions.
No. I think this is a great list of how to use the grant funds to us for
I just don't know where it goes from here. I mean, there's supposed to be a work group, or does council just sit down and take things out, put things in?
Well, next month we will have a full council again. So I'll be bringing it for discussion there as well. If it's okay with Robert and James, I think it would be great to have a full council. We'll have a discussion for sure. Also gives us time to kind of noodle on it on our own as well. Question though for Mike on the water and the wastewater, when I look at those two combined totals, is that going into where you think we might actually have adequate funds then to be able to do the water upgrade?
Well, after I talked at the last meeting, I may have jumped the gun just a little bit, and I went back and we sat down and we ran the numbers. And with the numbers we're looking at here, with what we've got in savings and what we can use from the SDC funds, we're looking at approximately, in the rough numbers, because we haven't had the time yet to figure it all out, because we don't know what we're getting out of this. We're looking at about $1.4 million. Okay, with what we have paid off and well, let's put it this way. Our hope is that it's not going to cost the community anything, but what we can comfortably say at this point, because of a couple of things that are already in utility bills that are being paid for. One is the static water pressure fee that we're charging. And the second one is the money we're collecting to pay the bonds off from the upgrade in 2000. We can comfortably say at this point that it will not affect, by the way of an increase of the utility bills as we see them today. But unfortunately, we don't know, because we haven't done the engineering on it yet, what the cost of the upgrade to the water treatment plant is going to be. We figured around between 1.4 and 1.8 million, but we don't know until we get the actual numbers out of the engineer estimate for what the cost is. A second thing came to my attention this afternoon is Marion County is taking their funds and putting it out as grants for communities to get to do anything on this list. So Melinda and I sat down this afternoon, and this is what the proposal is we're going to take, if it's okay with the council, we're going to take a piece of that project, take the treatment part of it, which is regenerate the green sand in both the existing filters, put in a new filter, and repair the roof on the water treatment plant, take it out of this, hopefully get it engineered and get it submitted to Marion County for a possible grant out of their COVID relief monies. And we're thinking, as I say, don't know exactly what it is, but that should take between 150 and 250,000 out of what we'd have to pay for if we get the grant. There's a slim chance, but why not try for it?
What's the grant submission for that one?
It's pretty immediate.
Yeah, we have to have it in
Yeah,
by
we would have
December the
to,
9th.
staff and council agree that that's a good use to do that. It's a very quick turnaround. It just came out today, as you know, for the applications, and they're actually due a month from today, so December 9th, which is actually prior to the next council meeting. So if council did want to make a decision to direct staff to go ahead and move forward to do that piece of it, then we would take the reins from there and work with our engineer to get an application completed. And then we would also need for council to authorize the signing and submittal of the application. Again, it would have to happen today because we wouldn't have another council meeting before we have to submit it, so.
Silly question, but do we know what the cost of the engineering report's gonna be?
I don't have an exact cost unfortunately, but the positive thing of it is because we'd be pulling from projects that we're planning to do anyway. So even if for some reason we don't get the grant, then we're not out anything really because we would have to do that piece anyway when we move forward to do the wastewater and water projects anyways.
Yeah, we just go ahead and have it done now. And if we don't get it, then that piece is done when we go ahead and do the other three pieces.
So it falls right in line with what they're trying to do this one's with anyhow.
Right.
I think it's a no-brainer. You want a motion from council?
Yes, there needs to be a motion from the council.
I make a motion that we direct staff, specifically Public Works, to make that application to the Marion County grant and authorize them to fill out any paperwork and submit it before the filing date.
Do we also have authorization to get the engineering study done? For
Yes.
that portion of it?
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
I second that.
Okay, all those in favor of as said motion and seconded motion, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? All right. Make it happen, you guys. This is exciting. Let's see if we can definitely get some more of those grant dollars towards other.
Sure seems like money's growing on trees nowadays, doesn't it?
And Mike, I can't speak for everybody on the council, but I think it's awesome that you guys found something and you brought it to our attention in a timely manner because it is time sensitive, so that way we don't miss the opportunity. So thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, and it's okay if we hold off the rest of the discussion then until December. We can have the full council figure out what we want to do with the bond, the grant.
Yeah, those are just recommendations, but.
Yes, but they're great recommendations. Thank you for bringing that in. Any questions from Robert or James to Chief Rash on that?
No, thank you for putting that together.
Hey, we were waiting on Steve just as like so long. I think I typed it to Vicky by 6:15.
Well, thank you. Okay, let's move on down. Mayor and/or council presentations. Councilors, you have any? Robert?
Love Santa Incorporated is moving along with their distribution date of December 11th. We're going to be putting out more information in the next week or two about volunteer opportunities, and people are encouraged to donate cash if they have it. Go to our website. You can donate online, and yeah, things are moving along finally.
If anybody in the community of Hubbard, Woodburn, Aurora, Donald is finding themselves in need, or you know somebody in need, please encourage them to go to lovesantainc.org and sign up. We've made it so that the public can sign themselves up. We're also working with the schools to also identify those that they know of which children are in need to sign them up. The only caveat that if you sign yourself up, we ask that you come to one of the next two signups. There's an express line to just verify your address and your children that's in your household. And then make sure that your mailing address is, that it's real quick.
I got a question, James. 2 years ago, didn't we have signups here at the PD? Are we away from that right now?
Only because of COVID, we did have to change. And in doing a lot of background work, it's a Google document that when they sign up immediately comes to us. And then we have the ability to make sure that they're assigned the number. Love Center will be giving out actual, real, plausible toys. Nice toys, not just a little matchbox for a child, but it will be matched up to each family specific to the children's age and gender specific. And so December 11th is the big distribution day, and that will be held at Woodburn High School. Last year we did it in 4 different locations. This year we've combined it down to one location with multiple pickup points along that same route, so we can get cars in, loaded, and gone, literally touchless. With our clients, those that sign up, touchless distribution for them. So lots of things moving forward. There are 2 live sign up sessions. The next one's the 16th of November,
Tuesday, between 6 and 8.
between 6 and 8, and then November 20th,
Saturday.
Saturday from 9 to 2.
Mhm.
And so If they sign up online, there's, like I said, an express line when they get there, say, hey, sign up online, they're in, checked, and gone. As opposed to those that did not pre-register, then we will sit them down and go through all the paperwork with them. But we are encouraging those that are in need to please sign up. Hubbard, Donald, Aurora, and Woodburn zip codes.
Wonderful, you guys, truly wonderful. Nothing from the mayor. We'll move on then, if there's nothing else to staff reports, and we'll kick it off with the police department.
So it looks like policy manual updates. We're working on one of the policies that's the homeless. The state law hasn't caught up to the new legislative things, and Ashley had some questions. So we'll do it next month. There's a bunch of updates we did in the policy manual, so I'll have this stuff for you next month. We're just waiting for the homeless one to be clarified. It's 20, it refers to 24 hours on public property, but with the state mandates, it's now, you get up to 72 hours. So we don't have a big issue with homeless here, because we're gonna be sure the policies in accordance with law. Other than that, we've had a lot of, we've got Officer Holloman through firearms instructor school 2 weeks ago. And Marcos, our Officer Jimenez, is down there this week. He's 2 days into it, so we'll have 2 new firearms instructors. And with Sergeant Anderson's been taking the burden on that, so he can be the supervisor, and we'll have 2 new firearms instructors moving forward. Officer Bentley just went to it's the A-RIDE. It's kind of the advanced DUI investigations. I think it bridges between DUIs and the drug invest. So he just went through the 2-day course, said it was excellent. And then today we had 2 of the officers go to surviving the deadly encounter. It's a guy out of California who's been in 4 shootings. We sponsored that class at Canby, and I texted all the people in there, and they just said it was phenomenal. So I'm hoping to bring the guy back out so the rest of the officers can go through it. So that's which when we have people in training, activity goes down. So, other than that, we will be participating in the Christmas parade. It's scheduled for December 10th on a Friday, and the memorial's been canceled due to the weather.
Yep, that note went out, I think, today.
Thursday, got canceled?
Rain, heavy rain.
Anyway, does anybody have any questions of the police department?
No, thank you, man.
Robert,
James?
appreciate it. Fine.
Excellent, let's keep driving on through. I don't see Chief Fudge here, so no fire district update, I believe. So we'll move on to administrative department, that'd be Nikki.
The auditors are here on Thursday, and they're continuing to go through the books off-site. So you, myself, and the finance consultant have been trying to provide them with whatever they need or any questions that they have. And other than that, I don't have anything else unless you have questions.
I'll just apologize to Julie ahead of time, so we hounded me for the newsletter update. Robert, do you have any questions?
No, thank you.
By the way, if the audit goes clean, I'll be very impressed considering we've been down all year. Just a lot going on.
Me too.
James, any questions?
I have no questions of Vicky, but on the fire department side of it, December 4th, I believe, is a Saturday, the 5th of December. I believe Hubbard Fire will be doing what they did last year, collecting money to help the holiday season at St. Agnes Church. That'll be a drop off since they're not collecting actual cans of food and non-perishables this year. So last year they collected about $2,000, and I believe they're going to be doing the same thing this year.
All right, Public Works.
The only update I have to our report that you've got in front of you is that the Centennial Park project is completed.
Looks good too, by the way.
It does. They did a good job with it. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Does anybody have any questions for me?
All right.
I have no questions. Thank you.
James? All right, let's move on to consent agenda then. So we move nothing out of consent agenda. I shall go ahead and read it as is. A, approval of meeting minutes, September 14th, 2021, October 12th, 2021. Approval of September 2021 check register report. And finally, approval to move Juan Hernandez, utility worker 2, from probation and also move him from A to C of the Hubbard salary schedule for obtaining required distribution level 1 certification effective November 1st, 2021.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as written.
I second.
All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All those disapprove, say nay. Okay, consent agenda passes as it should unanimously. Okay, 10, appearance of interested citizens. Do we have anyone that wishes to speak? Rocky, go ahead. Be sure to state your name and address though, just so we can get it on record.
All right, Rocky Freud, address is 2622 Nina Place, Hubbard, Oregon, 97032. I just want to say, as a community, the CEO of the Hubbard Planning Events, we had a really good event in October. We had over 1,000 people, no problems. I think only officer we had was rash, and nothing got out of control, and everybody was happy. The tempo was great, no complaints. And man, this is an awesome community. We have an awesome mayor. We got an awesome city councilor. He threw a curveball at me while he was out overseas. I thought I was getting punked by this lady, called me up, and she said she was from Xfinity. And then so since that initial meeting, they're one of our big sponsors of our event. So they're always calling me daily, wanting to know what they can do for. They're gonna have, I believe they're gonna have a couple trucks driving in a parade this year. We scheduled our install with them. They're an official sponsor and they're taking good care of my family and me. So we have our install coming up Sunday. My thing is, I want to address the Love Santa and the Veterans Park. Reach out to Lisa Burnett with Xfinity. She's always wanting that. They got dollars that they can help your program, your Love Santa and the memorial program. I mean, they jumped in full circle, both feet. And I mean, she even was serving drinks in the latte truck because she didn't have an assistant. So the head person from Xfinity was like volunteering. I mean, she's a legit person. I know a lot of people, they talk the big game, but from what I got a lot of good opportunities to meet with Lisa, and she's a family oriented person. And I definitely, whoever okayed Xfinity to come into our community, thank you, because they've been such a blessing to this community, and they're a great company, and I'll vouch for them for sure. And thanks for, like they said, our second annual holiday parade is going to be Friday, December 10th. We had like 2,500 people line the streets last year on a week's notice. I'm thinking we're gonna get probably a lot more people outside for this year. I'm looking forward to that, and then I'm looking forward to that second annual holiday truck coming back from Willamina. The truck's in the shop. I talked to the driver today. They're working on the truck, done like $15,000 worth of maintenance to the truck, but they got the trailer about done. So all gears forward on that. So anybody have any questions for me or anything?
Nope.
No, thank you.
All right,
Thank you for all your support.
Anyone else like to speak?
Linda Plasinski, 2409 8th Street. I'm very disappointed that we had to cancel the ceremony. But for safety of everybody, we felt like it was the best thing to do. We talked it over with the board members and they all agreed to. So we had everything planned. And so I think I spent all day on the phone.
You guys out there yesterday cleaning it all up?
Yeah.
Big truck and stuff,
Well, was it yesterday?
or 2 days ago?
2 days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the windstorm hits last night again.
Mhm.
Yeah. And we're talking a silver, so.
Yeah.
We're, just to look ahead, we are thinking maybe, and it's something we'll talk at our board meeting, maybe not to have a Veterans Day ceremony because of the weather. We never know what it's gonna do. But the Marion Carl Veterans Memorial was established on Flag Day in 2012. And we're thinking maybe we would do something then at that time for the veterans. And we might get a bigger crowd and the weather be better. And so if we do that, we are going to take the same program that we had for Veterans Day and use it at that time because we had a good program coming. So, but anyway, I wanted to thank you. And I love the fence.
Oh, yeah, the fence is great. Great job on recommending that. Much better than the hedgerow. Anyone else like to come up and speak?
Scott Sterling, 3369 Ash Street. And I'd just like to thank you for approving the thing for the mobile homes. As someone that lives in Joey Mobile Manor and has been having trouble getting heat pump that went out and stuff, we've had mailers trying to get us to get one for a couple thousand, but when they found out that we had one that wasn't working since it was in the house, we were eligible. So this is a chance for us to get it there.
Excellent. I'm happy to hear you potentially benefit from it. Okay. Anyone else? There's no one online, so. Okay.
Specifics of the council today.
All right. If that's the case, then agenda number 11 would be, is there any other city business? Robert, any additional city business?
No, any new sidewalks coming in?
Not planned as yet, but the weather is not real conducive for a pouring concrete.
Anybody picking up that wood in front of Winchester Park soon?
No, I'm gonna have to talk to the guys about picking it up. The last tree we had dropped there a couple of years ago, we had people coming out of the woodwork wanting the wood, but I guess after the storm last year, everybody's got plenty. So we'll pick it up and store it for now and over by the shop and put a sign on it that says free.
Outstanding. It looks good that it's been cleaned up.
Yeah, I was really happy when that particular project got taken care of because it was definitely a safety issue.
Thank you.
Anything else, James? Okay, city department heads, any additional city business?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
My second.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned.
Excellent.